And continuing on, excuse me. I'm Joseph F. Price, your host. Name of the program, we call it the Men's Clean Health Club. That means being healthy spiritually, healthy physically, healthy mentally. You live in the context of something that we call sexual integrity. That's a new word, isn't it? Sexual integrity. So, we did a little bit of journeying. Hopefully, for you, it might have been some brand new stuff. And hopefully, for you, I'd also like to welcome you back. And because I noticed it was like an hour and 47 minutes. That's what, not as long as I intended to go. And I'm not even finished in terms of the things that I wanted to tell you. So I'll try to get there as quickly as possible. And I'll make sure I'm finished when I'm done. And that's really the attitude that I want you to have when it comes to your recovery, is that you're just basically going to get it done. This is a complicated matter, so it's not something that you're just going to in there and hit it and bam, we're done. Let's have a nice day. It's not that kind of party. I kind of it's hard for me to stay on script, so teleprompters and stuff of that nature would be kind of difficult. I'm sure I could do it, but I will be bouncing around, but I want to make sure that I talk about everything that I came here to talk about today. I guess that'll be fair enough. One of the things that I found that, unfortunately, it's true, people that have watched a lot of porn, they have ADD, attention deficit disorder, and it's like a chicken before the egg kind of conversation. I don't know if it was the ADD and then they got porn, or was it porn and then they got ADD from porn. I don't know. It's a lot of it, and as a result, there's some things that are in my uh, comfort zone, and there's also things that are outside of my comfort zone. And one of the things is following a script is a little bit difficult. I actually could do it, but one of the things I hate to do is, and I end up doing it anyway, is to wear glasses, because I notice there's a lot of glare on my glasses. It's kind of rough there. All right, let's get back to work. So, things that I want you to want to talk about, and things I want you to know is we're talking all over the place. We're talking about recovery, and we're also talking about it really specifically for you in the context of you being a Christian, because this might be the first exposure that you have to recovery. So, because of the way that it's going to be optimized. So, a lot of times people think that they can just fix this by putting in things like safeguards and boundaries. And I would say that no, it's more to that. Now, covenanteyes.com slash coach J, covenanteyes.com slash coach J. You can hit that link, and that will give you like some dollars off if you want like a porn blocker. They have a very, very good blocker. It's a safeguard, it's a digital blocker is what I'm talking about. So I don't believe they call them porn blockers. It's basically software that you download, and it blocks various sites. Some of the sites that are bad, they're known. And then it also sends reports to people. So Covenant Eyes was pretty much the originator, and there's probably about 20 to 50 different versions of that at a variety of different prices and a variety of different qualities. So Covenant Eyes is pretty much the gold standard when it comes to porn blockers. So, covenanteyes.com slash Coach J, and they'll get you a little discount there. So part of porn blockers would be it's a safeguard. You need to put safeguards in place, obviously, as you're dealing with your recovery situation, but it's more than just safeguards like that. I actually have my Google searcher because I use Google as my primary search engine on safe search. So that way stuff doesn't come. So that's part of one of the things that you have to learn. And there's like I've got some podcasts from the past about that. There's other past podcasts that other people have. But one of the things I can tell you that's missing is when it comes to this stuff, you don't have good boundary control. In the context of talking to the Christian man, God's going to forgive you for this, right? Also, this is not just a lust thing, and I think that that's an area of a whole bunch of shame that people get pulled into. It's that your mind gets corrupted, and then it pulls you to lust. But sometimes people like to drown themselves in, oh, I got this lust problem. No, you don't have this lust problem. You're doing stuff, and then that's taking over. So this isn't just specifically about lust. And does lust exist? It does. All right. But it isn't just a lust thing. All right. It's about things that you do. If you're feeling all of this lustful stuff, you're doing a bunch of lustful stuff to make you feel lustful. See, a lot of people want to say, oh, I just feel that way. No, you don't just feel that way. You done stuff to feel that way, or you allowed stuff to be done to you to feel that way. We just don't feel that way. I'm just saying it doesn't happen that way. If you examine why you feel that way, you will find that you did stuff or you allowed stuff to happen. That's the only way that you can feel. So I'm going to remind you 5 million times till we go home. You can't do this on your own. You can't do it on your own. So get yourself a community. We heal in communities. Get yourself a community, a community of Christian men. Celebrate Recovery is a good Christian resource, whether they have it at your church or not. They have it at various churches. And then you can actually do some of the deep diving recovery work if you want to be cheap and not get a therapist or a coach. Like some people want to, they want to do it, the cheap way. Yeah. And some people will just dive in and do it with whatever resources. And to some degree, you're going to get what you pay for, but nonetheless, there's resources out there, so you can't complain about there isn't resources. There's resources. Okay, celebrate your recovery. Now, here's what I find that people aren't ready for when they try to quit porn. Is that they're not ready for the crash. Like there's an emotional crash that's going to come, and people aren't ready for that. So I'm telling you that there's an emotional crash. You're going to feel like crap. Expect it. You're going to feel bad. Expect it. And so if I was expecting to feel bad, would just expecting to feel bad be enough? Of course not. It would. No. You have to have. What are you going to do about that? All right. I'm not here to tell you, but I'm telling you, you're gonna have a drop, and you need to have something, because if you don't have something, then it's going to overtake you. You're always going to have a drop. The reason you're going to have a drop is because it seriously is it's a chemical addiction, a neurochemical addiction. Those words I said on the other: norepinephrine, oxytocin, vasopressin, dopamine, serotonin. All of these things are in a cartridge that they can shoot in your arm. You're producing these things within your body through the porn masturbation orgasm process, and you're flooding yourself with that. And then you decide, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, that's fine. And your body says, hell no. Excuse me. I need some more of what you was giving me. And a lot of people fall. I would invite you to stay with me because I think you think I'm I'm not finished. But I just added this little flash, and it wasn't even on these notes. Something that I have to address with you. So don't go anywhere until we're done. One of the things I will caution you, if you want to be a fan, I like fans. I'm sure you like fans too, is that I have a way of fading out because it's just me. I record, I tape, I go. I don't edit. I don't do that. I'm live to tape like they do on TV. That's it. I don't. It's what I do. And so sometimes I get a little too slow. I really do. So just hit the speed it up a little bit. When you want me to speed it up, like I should, all right, you speed it up as opposed to turning me off. Because I was listening to one of mine. I was like, yeah, I wanted to turn me off on that one. And the only reason why I left it was because everything that I said was absolutely right there, and it's what would be helpful. So as you go back, if you find that this dude's getting a little bit boring, speed it up a little bit because the stuff is there, whether the delivery was there or not. Okay. So where are we going to go next? I talked about that you have to do relationship recovery. You're going to have to do that. I don't know where you are in your relationship, but you're going to have to do that. You just are. And that's tough. So be ready for that. Because it's all about the whole man. It's all about the becoming that new great wonderful person that's making a difference in the world that matters. It's continuously being an influence. So that's a process, and the process of becoming an addict. See, again, let's really put this thing in common sense perspective. If a person, and this is based on what's been reported to me. This ain't based on what I made up. So people that are practicing porn addicts, pretty much it occupies about an hour of their day. So let's say that's 5 hours, 20 hours, 200 hours a year, 10 years, that's on the low end. I did everything in that math on the low end, and you know it, right in your face, 2,000. So let's say it's on the high end. $5,000, 5,000 hours per 10 years. See? So with that caliber of hours to get to where you are, you're going to have to put some kind of commitment into it. And like I said, this is a earned-based, works-based endeavor. Recovery is. You're not going to pray your way out of it. That's not justice. Our God is a God of justice, and you watching all those naked girls on TV and then pulling out your member and then masturbating to the point of ejaculation and giving yourself all that feel good, and then you think you're going to throw up a prayer to get rid of it. The God of justice is saying hell no to that. And and if you had any common sense, you would say hell no to thinking something as stupid as that. It don't work like that, fella. It don't work like that at all. You ain't going to just throw up no prayer after you done did all that. Come on, man. Wake up. Like I said, when we grow up, we put away the childish things. That's the goofiest thing I've ever seen. We're going to do that. Let's figure on the, let me Joe price it now. 2,000 hours, like I just broke down to on the low end. Let's figure, one of those, O's. I'm not even going to say because I'm trying not to trigger one of those O's. I'm just going to say O, right? So that's 2,000 O's. You're going to just throw up a prayer or a hallelujah, and you're going to be good. That's not even justice, man. And see, that's one of the things. You're going to know that you grow because your sense of justice is going to change. And you're not even going to think of something clowned up like that, that you're just going to throw up a prayer and get rid of it. An addiction that was involving all that feel good for all those years. And after you blatantly violated the word of God, and then you go just throw up a prayer. Yeah, come on, man. It ain't gonna work like that. It's not supposed to work like that. It really is. So, like I said, you're gonna have to do the recovery work. And the thing is like here, we had this conversation, but everybody that you might know, or everybody that's around you that's gonna talk and include earth to everybody up in here, earth to everybody up in here, earth to everybody up in here. They don't know what they're talking about. And even when they know what they're talking about, they don't know what they're talking about. Didn't you know that? They they don't know what they're talking. They never knew what they were talking about. And you know what? They never will know what they're talking about, because a lot of times they don't have the specifics about your situation, so they can't possibly speak precise to your situation. Okay? So they don't know what they're talking about, which brings up another thing about uh you as a porn addict, you know, the rest of this conversation, I'm not gonna call you a porn addict. I'm gonna call you somebody that's operating within your addiction, because I don't believe in labeling people, and I don't believe in calling people addicts, because I believe words matter. So, from here on out, I do adjust my talking to the person I'm talking to. So since we've had that little conversation, from here on out, it's you operating in your addiction. Now you see how I made that word change? You got 2,500 word changes that you need to make. You got a bunch of them that are concealed. One of them is your relationship with fear. You give that too much power. And that has a lot to do with why you're here, because you've been so afraid of stuff. One of the reasons that you needed to self-soothe is because of your relationship with fear. You get all uncomfortable, you get all overwhelmed, you watch some porn, you rub one down. Come on, man, we know what they people to be doing. So see, you need to understand that fear is false evidence appearing real. You need to understand that that's more than just an acronym, false evidence appearing real. Because you need to understand that you've made up every single fear that you have. You need to understand inherently, when you were born, you only had three fears, my friend, only three. Loud noises, and I guess that would count for loud people named Joe Price. Loud noises, fear of being dropped, and then the fear of abandonment. The rest of those fears, my friend, you made them up. Ask a psychologist. You made them up. Now, fear is there to protect us. Fear is a good thing in its real intention. We have inherent three. We make up the others, and they're there to protect us. But what has happened is we use a device that's there for protection, and it's actually been hijacked. Anything that's not, or many things that are not watched or overlooked or supervised or viewed or checked out, get to go haywire in this world that we live in. And fear absolutely is one of them. One of the reasons that fear has gone so haywire for each and every one of us is because we live in a world where people use fear to manipulate us and to get us to do things. So in different places where it's not healthy, we have unhealthy fears. And our lack of confronting those fears keeps us stuck. Those fears, as well as the fears of recovery. So I would ask you, I'm telling you right now, if you change your relationship about stuff that you fear, then you get it to have an opportunity to change your relationship with everything. See, one little thing changes everything. And as I said, you're going to become a different person than the person that you are now. And so there's a lot of little changes that you have to get. Now, here's something that I want you to know, that is hijacked, and it's got a lot to do with the whole porn addict thing. Our wonderful, 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 wonderful Almighty Father. He gave us something that was meant for something that we didn't know how to use. And that's really like our sexual energies, as well as our visual energies. You know, some people would think, oh man, and they kind of are. And here's why. God put that in place so that you could find a mate, so that you could procreate. So it's kind of like one of those one and done things, but it gets hijacked, and it constantly gets used. See, it really it's made so that you can pick a mate and then you kill it for the other women, and it stays alive for that mate. That's how it was supposed to be until the world hijacked it. And that's part of a dynamic that goes on with the porn, is that part of us has been hijacked, and we have a society that hijacks it every day. And that's why I'm telling you, you can't even watch a basketball game anymore without them trying to use that. But you may not see it because of where you are. I see it because of where I am. And it's okay that we see things differently. But just know the real point is that's a one and done that has been hijacked. And society has hijacked it, and it hijacks it every day. Now, let's go to this. Because like I said, I'm bouncing. We just conversing. Trying to give you enough ammunition for you to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. But this is like the $1 million one here. This is the one. This is the one that if this one, I'm gonna even make you wait while I have a sip of this coffee before I give you this one. And I'm telling you, that is 20 times more worth the wait. Watch this. And then I'm gonna go off on it. Watch this. And I'm sorry. I mean, I hope you guys like me, because you really have to like me, because I'm not wasting your time. I'm just getting you prepared, because the thing is, what I'm going to tell you, your brain ain't even going to catch up to next Thursday. Okay? It's going to. I can assure you, totally. You might think, but nah, it's like that. Your brain ain't even going to catch up to this. Now watch this. Okay. You, anybody, right now, can look at more naked women, more naked men. Put that together. Put what I can do in the next 20 minutes. Put that in a box. It's in a box. Put a number. Okay? You know how you look in the Bible, like the first, and they got all them names, the genealogy, all the lineage. Okay? I'm going there. There was this guy named Adam. Remember Adam? Back in Genesis, way back there, way back there. Okay, remember him? Yeah. All right. So you and I, in 20 minutes, can see more naked ladies than my generation, my parents' generation, rather. Going back to Adam. The cumulative of all the naked women that they seen, the cumulative, all of them, going back to Adam. That whole bloodline, all of them. You have the ability to see the same amount in 20 minutes as that whole bloodline. That should blow your mind right there. That should blow your mind right there. Now, there's two things about that I'm going to take you somewhere else. See, I think if I read my Bible correctly, I think the day that a man first saw a woman naked, I think they call that the fall. The whole planet changed at that moment. I think that's what it says. The whole planet. Everything. And they actually call it the fall. The first time someone saw a blank and it starts with a P, they call that the fall. And the first time somebody saw something that starts with a V, that day, that moment, they call that the fall. Now you chew on that for a moment. If the whole world changed when that happened, you think it ain't a game, is what I'm trying to I mean, forget I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna let you do all the saying. If the day the first naked lady occurred, they call that the fall. And the day the first man was seen, they call that the fall of the earth, folks. That don't tell you nothing. There's no message in there for you. Nothing, huh? Nothing. That don't say anything. And another thing, like here's what I know for a fact, and here's what you need to know, especially if you're doing porn. You weren't made to see naked women. That's my point. If the earth calls the day one person saw a naked woman the fall, and you can see 25,000 this week, yeah. But it doesn't stop there. If you weren't made to see vagina and breasts, what the hell do you think? Looking at other men's wee. What kind of business you got looking at other men's private parts? How is it? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, who are you fooling? How can you look at what you look at without looking at other men's? And so if you weren't made to see Eve, why do you? Yeah. See, it's hard for me because I'm usually secular, and you know I could go off on that in a secular way, but nah, I'm gonna keep it cool. I mean, boy, you just imagine the tirade, because I as a guy who talks, yeah, but yeah, I mean, without all the drama and all that, you weren't made to see penises. I mean, you ain't got no business, you ain't got no business doing that. Plain and simple. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but like there's extreme forms of porn addiction, and really there is, and people do stuff like they go to chat girls and spend all this kind of crazy money and fans only to have some girl do some kind of dance in front of them and spend crazy kind of money, lots and lots and lots of money that people spend. And it there's excuse me, there's advanced forms of porn that I name it that. It's sissy porn. That's you know they're they're talking as there's different porn scenes going on, and and it's got hypnotic stuff, and they're convincing the person to be a sissy. And this is in the porn itself, and they're convincing the person to resign to the fact that they're powerless over it. This is what's out there, right? And then they have this thing that these people do called gooning, gooning. And I don't think Christians have the time for all this, but like this is where grown men sit there and look at some porn and then look at their penis for like 2 hours straight. Their mind is so whack. And that's a thing to them. So again, the point, like I said, after all that, man, I hope that penetrated your soul. That there's something about sexual integrity that the world changes when it's not realized. And the world changed that day. And I think your world changes every day. And there's a fall. I mean, that when I saw that when I thought about it, because the first thing I thought about when I got in this porn recovery business was, dang, man, you weren't meant to see all that. And then I said, wow, well, if you weren't meant to see all that, then I know you weren't meant to see all that. Right? And so, I love when I'm really flowing with the conversation, because it just brings up these other thoughts. And so now we have people, and I've seen this. They see all these penises, and then they want to they get enamored by looking at a penis, and then they want to date a guy. And I'm serious. I cannot tell you how many people that have come to me. And I know doggone well, I mean, I was a taxi driver. I've been around. I'm a street dude. Okay. I'm from the street. I'm not a troublemaker. I never got in trouble, but I'm ready to go on the street. All right. I'm just saying. But that's what those people do. Yep. They're losing their minds out there. Gooning. Looking at themselves. I got kicked off of like a forum one time because I wrote a post that said that porn is making men gay. And then the person got mad. And I wouldn't say that porn is making men gay. I think I wrote it wrong in a way that could be, Because when you say something makes somebody something, then they're saying, oh, it's got to make them. No, and a better word would have been it influences. And the people that become gay as a result of porn made them gay. All right. And it's funny that because I've been called out about making statements about that in various forums. And it's funny that this one guy, he called me out. He called me out real bad. He blasted me. And he came at me really like destructive too. And I just said, on this one, I said, I might actually be I'm gonna really be like God told me to be, turn the other cheek. And so yeah, I turned the other cheek and sent him a message back and sent him a message back from a heart. Like it's easy to turn your cheek, but you got to turn the cheek of your heart. And so I turned the cheek of my heart and wrote him back. I kind of calmed it down a little bit. I knew what was going on, but then I decided to take it, not have it not be confrontational. He wrote me back. Okay, because I wasn't talking to him. What happened in the post was I was talking to a woman who asked the question. And what I did was Joe Price, I shocked and awed her, right? I mean, I shocked and awed her so that she would have enough sense to like take a real look inside and say, no, I don't think I want to be with my boyfriend who is involved with porn. I communicating with that lady, I mean, I blasted her because I knew I only had one shot. So I mean, I blasted her because her dude was just basically going to string her along for like 10 years. That's how it is, right? Unless you're doing some work, especially those secular guys, because they're not doing the work. Unless you're going to do some work. I mean, if you're doing that porn, man, there's no reason not to do the porn, right? I mean, every time I get in, if I'm doing porn to escape, and every time I get in an uncomfortable moment, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. We call that the addictive cycle. That's what you're on when I'm never going to do porn. Yeah. And then it gets a little uncomfortable. Doggone it. And then you call yourself enough names, and then you get right back regular again, and then you just go back around in circles. Oh yeah, you got this, man. You got this. You can do it. Oh yeah. You can do it. You got to do the work. Got to go out there and do the research on yourself. Got to go out there and do the discovery. Got to make yourself an experiment to excellence. You ever thought about that? That's what's going to change your life, is when you decide that you're going to make yourself an experience of living excellence, moment to moment, moment to moment to moment to moment. All right. So it's all of this stuff to the Christian man that robs him of his ministry. And this is the sad part, because you go from this to that. And dude, we're talking about a Christian man that comes to me, man. He wants to be all up in ministry. And then, we're dealing with the porn thing. And then he got. Yeah. And it's only because it wouldn't have never happened. Like, again, I did not just finish telling you. Did you not listen to anything I just finished saying back there? God put that one and done in you. It wasn't one and done in you for Adam. It was one and done for you for Eve. All right. So the only way really for you to go that way is for you to have been conditioned, or for you to be so empty that you need to do that caliber of experimentation with your life. Okay? Some people fall into stuff because of the fact that they're so broken, and that's a form of experimentation that's available, and you have a culture that's actually supporting it. I'm not here to beat anybody up. Again, there's things that we're talking about, things that are happening because of something. We're not talking about something that happened. Y'all can deal with that something that happened somewhere else. But anyway, the dude kicked me out of the group because of the fact that I told him, and said, "No, there's no proof to that. There probably isn't any proof to that. There probably isn't any proof to the fact that if porn makes people gay." And then I sat there and thought about it. There isn't any proof that if two gay parents adopt somebody, that the kid won't turn out gay. There's no proof to the fact of that. But I mean, I'm supposed to think that if I grew up in a home, hypothetically, that had two gay parents, and I was exposed to an alternative way of life, that life is a numbers game the way it adds up. So it just is, and it always has been, and it always will be. That somebody isn't going to end up a certain way because of a certain exposure. Come on, man. That's that's so central to who we are. You become what it is you're exposed to. You become the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Come on. Come on. Come on. Stop the lie, right? These are the things that influence who you are. That's why, parenting is such influential, because that's a big part. It's a big influence endeavor. So, one word that came here on this sheet of paper is something to remember, is the struggling. I often hear guys talking about struggling. You're not. Here's what you need to know about struggling. If you're struggling, then I know you're not working on becoming a better person. You're not working on becoming more of what God intended you to be. You're not becoming a better husband. See, if you're struggling with porn, I know that you haven't attacked the little, how I said there's a bunch of attributes that come with porn use? Well, when we recover, when I work with people, we deliberately go after these things. But, any recovery program, you're still going to do these things. We're working on mature traits, mature life skills. Are you working on becoming more of a fulfilling person? Are you working on becoming a better father? Are you working on becoming more empathetic, more sensitive to other people's needs? Because one of the things that we know for a fact is, if you're practicing your addiction, then that means that you're probably practicing narcissism, because they kind of go hand. They don't kind of go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. And see, one of the components, there's some of the things, like I was saying, you're gonna know that you're getting better. One of those things is that you're gonna lie less. Just saying, it's a clue. You lie less, right? You have less secrets. You're more authentic. You're gonna find that you're freer. You're gonna find that there's less stress because you're hiding less. You're gonna find that you're in a good place. You're going to find that you feel for people. You're going to find that you're not as greedy. A lot of little things like that you find. You're going to find more a lot of those Christ-like like attributes. And as I said, a lot of what Paul was writing in 1 Corinthians 13 there, if you're practicing addiction, you're living the opposite of that. I'm not here to make you wrong. I'm not here to make you bad. I'm telling you that you're living the opposite. It was crazy. I hate to tell you this. Uh, I don't know if it makes me a dummy or what it makes me, but I didn't figure that out until probably 2 weeks ago. I was sitting there because I was like, well, what scriptures should I use? Should I throw in what scripture should I use? Because I'm not the guy who throws scriptures around. I guess I could do that. No, I'm the guy who can pull up a scripture and do this and do that and do this and do that. But that wasn't what I was going to do. And then I thought about what scripture, and then and the only part that I really wanted was when I was a child. And then I looked up because I always knew it was there. Anyway, I looked up and it's like, love is patient. Okay, that's not a porn addict. Love is kind. That's not a porn addict. And on and on. Love does not keep track of wrongdoings. The whole porn addict keeps score like nobody's business, and on and on and on. And I'm like, wow. So yeah, you can just go to that and grow in those areas. That's a pretty good start. But again, I remind you, get yourself a support group. Because what happens in a support group is that you see other people and you see that you're not the only one who has struggled. And it's when you see that you're not the only one who has struggled and you see that it's not as bad as you think it is, that gives you a strength. That gives you a peace. That gives you a resolve to move forward. When you're out there on your own. And anyway, I'm going to also forewarn you of something else. One of the things that people that are addicts have done, and they do, and they'll probably continue to do it, but what they will learn is how to do it in a healthy way. Is they like to do it their own way. They like to do stuff their own way. And I'm not necessarily a dis fan of doing it your own way. I mean, I love to do it my own way, right? But you got to understand that there's times to do it your own way, and there's times that it's better that you don't do it your own way. And then it's times where it'll never work if you do it your own way. And this happens to be one of those times that it'll never work if you do it your own way. I only told you part of the story. I can't tell you everything that you need to know about recovery as a Christian, everything that you need to do in one conversation. That's not even possible. Nobody can ever do it. I'll give you a little clue. I did radio for like maybe 20, 40 shows or something. Then I did like about 80 of these podcasts, maybe like 150 hours, something like that. I've never left the scene and said, hey, I said everything I wanted to say. There's always more that I could have said. There's always more I wish I would have said. So I leave it at that. The only thing I can do is give you a meal, and then you get another meal, and 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 you get another meal. And then one day you wake up full. So I think I pretty much have done everything that I possibly can do today, or that I would want to do. Just bring it back to God, put Him first. And when you really put God first, and when you really, allow God to be part of your recovery, see, you didn't know that He can be part of your recovery. He can be your recovery. He can walk with you through this recovery. It's when you pray for the things that are in Corinthians, when you pray that you don't know everything, when you pray that God, give me a heart to remember what you said in your word, to seek wisdom, right? Where is the wisdom that I need to get off of porn already built in my mind? Where is it the wisdom that I need to get off porn is just in me throwing up a hallelujah? It's not there. It's not there. And this is a works based endeavor. There's some things that you do need faith. You know, you need faith that that God will reveal the areas of woundedness that you need to heal, that you've been avoiding. Because like I said initially, the day that you discover, in our business we call it D-Day, discovering day. I've used the day of reckoning. But the day that brings you, the day that the thought happened that brought you to this moment, we call it Discovery Day. I call it the day of reckoning. Discovery Day was the day that God said, yeah, I really do want more for you, son. And this is the only way that I'm really going to get your attention, because it's things that you want to ignore. The same way that you can do all of this porn and stuff and go to church and be cool with that and da 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 and then ba ba ba. The same way that you can be cool with that, the same ignorance in your spirit. Now I'm not challenging, but the ignorance in your spirit, the ignorance, the heart that won't allow you to work on what you need to work on, to do what you need to do, to connect yourself with who you need to connect with. Some of it's just telling the right person, because people are holding in a lot. And this is the devil's playground. Secrets, hiding, corners, covering up history, hiding phones. You don't need to live like that. So until next time, one day at a time is really one day at a time. You can't eat an apple in one bite. You really can't. I mean, if you like to try it, go ahead and try it. And, please make sure that you don't tell them I told you to try it, because, I don't want any criminal charges, man, for your stupidity. But that principle is true to life. You just got to take it one day at a time. And that's really how you get this progress over perfection, brick by brick. Build a brick that's a pure house. And that's basically, again, what D-Day was for, is to tear your house down a little bit so that you can build a house totally on a rock. So until next time, I'm Joseph F. Price. Thanks for stopping by. Again, I really do need your support, so please hit that subscribe and like button. And we'll see you next time. Look at the old videos. There's some food in there. If I'm talking too slow, just go ahead and speed it up and get your fill, and get your fill of the other people that are out there. They're out there to serve you, to make you a better person. Why? You deserve more, man. I tell you, it's so crazy where this next statement that I'm going to make is it's kind of negative, but it's negatively positive, man, you got so many other problems to work on that really you don't need to be stuck right here. There's a whole world of clowneries, a whole world of stuff that needs to be addressed. So with that, I will talk to you guys the next time I get a chance. Love you. Take one step at a time. Become a better person one day at a time. Read the books. Listen to the podcast. Spend 1 hour a day working on yourself, getting a better person, becoming a better person. Do yourself a favor. One easy habit. You never hear me not say it. Don't touch your phone for an hour. And don't tell me that you can't leave your phone away for your first hour of the day so that you can do some pure stuff, start your day out right. I tell people all the time, if you're going to tell me that you can't leave your phone alone for an hour, I'm going to tell you, I can't really help you not do porn and masturbate. Oh, before I go, wow. This might be the key for you. This was the last thing. I almost blew it. And I'm glad, in a way, that it came at the end like this, because for somebody that wanted to be smart and left, they're going to miss something that might be a gem for them. One of the things that I found, you know how I was explaining that men tend to masturbate. They watch porn at a young age. They start watching porn, and then it graduates into masturbation. Well, what happens is they actually they get a masturbation addiction. And then what happens is they didn't realize they have a masturbation addiction. So they're actually addicted to pleasuring themselves and getting a quick buzz off of ejaculating. They don't realize that that's their deal. And so what happens is, for a lot of people, is that when they do have that day of reckoning, when they do have that day of yeah, I need to do something. I need to shift my life. And then they try to address the porn when, as we said, we're not addressing just the behavior. You're going to have a heart change, and you're going to have a mindset change. And if you think that you can just address the porn, you're crazy, because that's not the issue. You need to change your heart, and you need to change your mind. You have the mind of a porn addict. That's why you have a proclivity to engage in addictive behavior. Okay. So here's what you need to know. That masturbation dynamic has to be handled in this too. And that's a tough one. And I tell you, the reason why I say it's a tough one, because it's a personal choice. And you probably might want to stay with me a while, because look, there's nowhere in the Bible, first of all, that says you shouldn't masturbate. But yet we know you shouldn't jack off every 5 minutes. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to understand that. Right? Right. Okay. So to make it easy for you, so that we don't have to go through some 5-hour deal, because Joe Price, he can stretch stuff out. 3 times a month if you're a young person. And if you're masturbating more than 3 times a month, it's problematic. You're gonna have to figure it out. I can't do all that in this one thing. But what I'm telling you is that an end result, anything more than 3 times is an addictive. You're being addicted. I'm giving you a lot by saying 3 because some people would say none. Some therapists, some people would say none. There's a time when you're really at none. But if you are going over 3, it's addictive. It isn't written specifically in the Bible. I have a lot of therapists, people who teach me, people who are therapist friends. I've run a course for people that are Christian. I've run a course for people that wrote courses that are Christian. There's nothing in the Bible that says anything about masturbation. But yet people want to make it wrong and they want to shame themselves for it. And again, if you're letting loads go every minute and you're lusting over chicks and you're imagining chicks while you're pleasuring yourself, you don't need me to tell you that there's something spiritually wrong with that. You don't need my help. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that at all. So there is something called mindful masturbation. You might want to look at it in Google. So basically, they're saying, if you feel like you just gotta you just gotta do that, then do that without fantasizing about some chick, some chick somewhere. Don't do it at all. No fantasizing and no porn. Okay, and that's okay. Mindful. It's okay. All right. If your partner's okay and you're in a committed relationship, if they're not okay with that, then it ain't okay. If you're not in a relationship, then I've already discussed everything you need to know. All right. So that's masturbation. You've got to make a resolution. This trips people up because of the fact that okay, I stopped porn, but then I masturbated. And then they feel like they relapsed. And then they act like somebody who relapsed and they allow themselves to go back. They didn't really go back, but they take themselves back. Don't do that. I think I covered everything, but seriously, the masturbation thing, it's personal. You're going to have to resolve it. And if you resolve it, like honestly resolve it, like, where do I stand? And there's some people, like I said, you might need help to get to that resolution. That might not be something that you have authority over yourself to come up with the answer to that. I'm just saying, I don't have so much about this journey, man. My friend, is about you, but it's gonna it's gonna find itself somewhere within everything that I said. But exactly what you're gonna do is different for everybody. And so if people need to find where they stand with that. Some people, if your resolution is that you don't want to masturbate, the worst thing that's going to happen is your body will do what it does and you'll be all right. So there's nothing that that says you like have to do, but you can choose to. And again, there's nothing spiritually, according to biblical doctrine, that I've gotten, and I have pastors that are actually sex addiction professionals, and it's a lot. Everything that I said is biblically sound according to them. But again, some of what I said is individual, and it's up to you. Because if you're, like I said, it's you got to understand. Yeah, you got to put it all together. Where is your heart? What is you doing? How are you doing it? It's all of that stuff. But I came to tell you that if you've been shaming yourself just because you masturbated, that's foolish. That's the devil telling you that. You might want to adjust how you masturbated. But see, you didn't know any better until I told you. I only told you half because you gotta look that up, man. I'm not telling you all about that. I ain't even getting into all that. Mindful masturbation. So yeah, that one will save you because there's a lot of people that go down. And so here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. And this is where it really becomes critical. And this is where it takes people down is that what they do is they oh I want to masturbate right now. Oh yeah. I can't get a wreck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me go to this porn. And then they call that a relapse and then they go back. So it ain't a relapse. And by the way, get that word relapse out of your mind and mouth anyway. It's slip. Sobriety loses its purpose. Relapse is when you just don't care about yourself anymore. If that's what you are and that's what you do, then call it a relapse. Otherwise, it's a slip. Because when you act like it's when you call it a relapse, you might act like it's a relapse, and then when you act like it's a relapse, you do the things of a relapse, and you get worse. So the thing that I did want to say was, don't once you get some time in, don't go back to looking at porn and then masturbating. And then the final thing that I wanted to say also that could happen and could affect your recovery is you've done things, you put your email out there, you've done things. You on this, that you done things. Those things, just because you stop doing porn, they're gonna follow you. Yeah. So the idea of you not ever seeing porn again, that's crazy. Because those things have a tendency to bring them, or the people behind those things. Like somebody figured out what my email is because I do this podcast. This dude at the college, he changed his email address every single day so he could send me some porn. Yeah. Yeah. That's what people do. So how but yet you have people that are doing this recovery game and that they'll actually think because porn came through their mailbox because of some clown, they'll actually think that they relapsed. And then that's could lead to one thing to another, to another, to another. That's no relapse, man. Somebody sent you something. So the idea of it not coming to you is kind of goofy. If it comes to you, you do what you do when you see nudity on the TV. You turn it off. You go on about your business. Say no big thing. What if I sent you a pile of steaming poop in whatever form, and it was steaming and it was nasty and there were flies on it? Like, what would you do? You just get rid of it and go on about your business. It would be no thing. Oh, you just get rid of it. That's what you do with porn. Final goofiness. Why you won't. I sent a text to this lady. I sent a text to the lady I thought was selling a lawnmower. Look, I'm going to bring my wife over. We'll come over and look at the lawnmower. I sent it to the wrong number. Lo and behold, I didn't know that. What happened? Dude turned around and sent me porn. So you can't get away from it. I mean, I didn't know I sent the original text to the wrong number until I got the porn back. And okay, I see what happened. So you can't at this point that the idea that it would never hit your eyes again, that's come on. Don't even go after that. The idea is that you're not going to deliberately look at it. And if it comes your way, you're going to stop looking at it. And if you happen to deliberately look at it, as soon as you just deliberately looked at it, you stop deliberately looking at it. All right. And I'm going to deliberately end this show right there. Love you. Talk to you guys later. Be well, be safe, drive with care, and walk with caution. Like or subscribe. We'll see you next time.